So I'm wondering throughout the war if you felt God's hand with you in any specific experiences or incidents that happened during the war.
Let me think on that just a second or two or so. Well, go ahead. I'll just do my best. I think you can see what I'm saying. Go ahead. Now shall I tell you now?
Yes, that would be great.
Oh, the question that was asking me about the God's hands, if I ever felt like in my living here on the earth the way we do, with so many things going on, especially a war between people, what my feeling was with Heavenly Father, our God, as we would speak of it. I always had a sort of a guilty feeling myself. I guess it's because being a bishop, I would sometime in a service look out over the audience, and if I try to explain my feeling about God intervening in war, or whatever you might want to say, He intervened with you in your prayer and that, I always felt like that there's some strong thing that says to you, yes, I'm here to help you. And but I would look down into the audience sometimes if I was conducting a funeral, and I'd see 2 or 3 people by their mother and dad, or maybe I'd see a boy by his mother, and it could be vice versa, or a setting in which I'd say, well, God sure had a hand, I'm just positive, in saving my life on this terrible tragedy that happened. I'm talking about the war, when you're in with a lot of other boys and different other boys of the world, and look down into the audience, and they had just lost a son, and sitting there, and me kind of to the bragging point that I was didn't feel like that I wanted to express in telling my story of how narrow escape it was for me in several places, that He is the one that saved me. Well, that is pretty darn deep in my thoughts. I hardly know how to explain it, because I don't feel like that the mother, knowing the boy was just as good as a person, it might even be better than I was as far as a citizen, whatever you want to judge him by. And if they lost a boy, which they did, how would they feel that why was my son, I had a son just as good as what you're talking about, so on. So it always kind of made me feel very, very strange to try to express too much on that thought. I can have my feeling that I had a feeling of Him being with me, whatever happened. But if He come to take me, then why did He come to take me? But it is a kind of a tough one for me to brag too much about it when I look down in and see somebody with a boy, a son that was in the service just like I was, and he got wiped out. And I don't know. Maybe to some people they don't think of it the way I do, but I just can't hardly talk on it and brag too much about that I was saved because I kept the commandments of God, or whatever you want to say, justified your being saved. Because I don't know whether it just works that way or not. I think that, to me, I just use the phrase, I just lucked out. I was lucky. And then I can pacify myself that way without getting onto this other part of being saved by grace or something. That's even hard to explain too. What is grace anyway? I don't know. Amazing Grace, that song. It all sounds good, and I'm sure there's something to it. It all depends on the person, how they feel about it. But if something terrible happens, they're here to tell the tale, but they're not here to tell the person standing in the war when a piece of shrapnel will come right by. That piece of shrapnel strike somebody in the wrong place and knock them dead right there, right in front of you. And I don't think it's being non-religion. It's just trying to decide what in the world is it all about. Sometimes that's what only way I can explain it. And I like the old song says, someday we'll understand. And maybe I've got to wait for that. I don't know. It's a puzzler to me, especially in a war issue and when you're around. And I can see how some people say, well, it almost makes me think of, you would think of God as being partial to some and not to another, but why? Why?